we know, I mean, you grew up in Brooklyn and you got into the whole lyric writing thing. Here's something that intrigues me to no end. I've seen you do it. Mm-hmm. And I know for you, it comes easy. It is because you've been doing it for so long, but
okay,
you rap and you rap on the fly. Now, if you ask me right now to just, even in slow motion, just start to rhyme very slowly and stay on point in a subject and have it rhyme, I can't get 3 lines in and I'm out. How the heck do you? So now for lyric writers, only, you know, a lot of times, let's say a country songwriter, we get halfway through a verse and they get writer's block. And sometimes they is me. You get writer's block and you're sitting there on line 4 and somebody like you hasn't stopped for an hour just riffing. Right. Like how do you do that?
I don't know, man. It's the same thing. I think with guitarists, you know, how you come up with your licks, man. You know what I mean? It's just innate for some folks, and other folks have to like practice. Jimi Hendrix didn't read.
Right.
Eric Clapton did. They both were dope. You know what I mean? But just different disciplines and upbringings, and I don't know. Practice, you know, just having a vocabulary, you know, a vast vocabulary, and then being used to like rhyming words in terms of rapping, you know what I mean? And then always having to be challenged by, you know, growing up in school, we were banging on the lunch tables. Boom, boom, so we 10 years old, you know what I'm saying? So that type of training, especially like if you got your guitar and you're doing these licks, whatever, you practicing, it's the same thing. We just didn't know. We just didn't know that it was going to go that far.
Right.
Who would have thought? You know what I'm saying? I'm 53. You know what I mean? Who would have thought? You know, if they say hip hop, you know, the recording aspect of it is 50 years old, because it's older than that. But if it's 50 years old, and I'm like 8, 9, 10 years old banging on lunchroom tables, we didn't think it was just in the classroom. Right. It was in the lunchroom. It was in the schoolyard. It was on the block. That's where it was. It wasn't this multi-billion-dollar, trillion-dollar industry.
Yeah.
So kind of went off on a tangent, but I think that's where it comes from. It just comes from training.
Right. You know, like you were saying, man, a lot of my training, I didn't know I was training. I grew up in that super crazy Christian thing, and we were doing nothing but hymns, and we get bored and we start harmonizing. I didn't know that was a skill set. It was just something we did to not be bored, and it was what we had to work with.
Exactly.
Later on in life, you're like, I know how to do that.
Right. And you loved it, though. You know what I mean? It's something, and you had a passion for it. And it was like, there was nothing to be gained but like bragging rights and self-affirmation. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what it was. And to watch, this is another tangent, but just to watch it morph into this, you know, corporate thing is heartbreaking, because now you have manufactured artists.
Yeah. Right.
Continue.
Well, and what you were experiencing was organic. I mean, as organic as it comes. Like you said, it wasn't manufactured even a little bit. You guys are at the lunch table having fun, and your buddies were into it, so you were into it, and somebody you respected was really good at it. You wanted to be more like them, so you're out there trying to kick his ass, and then
exactly.
He levels up, and then you're like, damn, and then you're trying to level up, and you don't even know.
Right. That's right. Right. But and another thing too, it's more now, but back then it was sport. It was fun.
That's tricky.